Good morning. Nicola, did you have a teaching to offer? Something about, I don't know, purring and contentment, seeking affection when you need it. So this week we are exploring the teachings on Mitahara, and we're going to continue with that. I'd like to focus this class on a principle in yoga called udana vayu, which means we're looking at one of the 5 forms of prana. This particular region of the body is in the throat, and when we think of Mitahara and what we are consuming, one of the teachings is how much food we actually need as a resource to sustain the body and to support the brain and the mind for meditation. So what are we taking in? But also not just with food, but everything else that we take in through the senses. And this is me making a translation or applying it to our contemporary lives, like in what other ways can we practice Mitahara, not only with food. So what do we take in through the visual field, the sensory field? What are we listening to? What is the fragrance? What is the taste of things? What is the physical contact on the skin of the body? How are we making use of resources that are available to us, like water, clean air, electricity, and such? But also, how are we making use of the resources available to us, like the teachings, the teachers, the community, people in our life or our world who are expressing that which is nourishing, like someone who's consistently generous or compassionate or kind. How are we drawing on that resource, respecting who they are and receiving what it is that they graciously emit into the world, right? Or do we spend more time connecting with people where there's a mutual kind of collusion or elevation gain on the mountain? And so sometimes we touch those higher states, but we hover down here. We long for this, but how much time do we spend in the other states of human mind and body? So these are questions that we can percolate on through the teachings of Mitahara. I think the questions are better reflected on actually at the end of our practice, because we've had this bath for the body, the brain, and the mind once we have our practice. So I'll just sprinkle them into the conversation right now, and then let's practice and see what comes for you from within your wise self from having your practice time. So please take your seat. I'll put the microphone back where I wanted. He was swirling around the microphone quite a bit this morning, so I moved it aside, but now I'm going to center it. So we can also begin by centering. You can rest your hands in your lap. Close your eyes if you like. Awareness to your physical body arriving here in the present. The throat, or this region we call udana vayu, is like a gateway or a bridge between the head and the trunk and the body. So sometimes we say between the mind and the heart. So as you're arriving, try to sense that relationship for you between the body from your collarbones down and your body from the base of the skull up, and the throat in between. Bring a very subtle form of the Ujjayi breath in. And notice the shape that you make in the back of the throat. So that what I sometimes call that hollow space in the back of the throat. And as you feel the inhale touching the upper back of the throat or the upper palate there, just imagine that the breath as it's touching there is also sending the signals through these receptor sites at the back of the throat, signals to the brain. This is a familiar practice for you. So one of the messages that might be getting sent is you're here now for your yoga practice. You're coming into concentration. When you exhale, maintain the same open shape to the throat. So the throat is not constricting to cause the exhale. It's tone in the lower abdomen that supports the exhale. And also, of course, in the intercostals and other places, but keep the throat spacious. Now I'm going to ask you to start using the M sound for the exhale. And you'll do that by curling the lips in between the teeth, which will make the upper palate and the lower palate also, again, more spacious and the back of the throat more broad. So you inhale with the Ujjayi sound. And then exhale with the sound of the letter M. Now with the M sound, you can also make that subtle, which is going to slow it down. Since we can't hear each other, go ahead and make it subtle. And just notice the length of the M sound when you practice in that way. Notice the influence on your mind. When you're ready to, you can then raise your hands to your heart. And we'll chant Sahana Vavatu. Sahana Vavatu. Sahanao Punaktu. Saviryam Karavavai. Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma Vidveshavai. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahanao Bhunaktu. Saviryam vidyang karavavai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidveshavai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. Bow your head to your heart. And momentarily release your hands. And as you sit upright, we're going to practice that again. The inhale, ujjayi, subtle. The exhale, the M sound, making it a little bit longer and making the M sound also subtle. When you feel you have that established, then I'm going to ask you to raise your hands and you'll close the eyelids with the middle fingers, just putting some light pressure there, and close your ears with your thumbs. The index fingers can rest over the eyebrows. Okay, so let's inhale ujjayi. Place your hands when you're ready to and proceed for 3 more breath cycles. Feel complete, you're going to rest your hands in your lap and notice the inner experience from vibration inside your head. Inhale, keeping your head centered and your eyes closed. Glide your eyes inside to the right. Exhale, glide your eyes to the left. Inhale, right. Exhale, left. more. Relax your gaze in the center. Lightly open the eyes and gaze down towards your right shoulder. And then tip your right ear towards your right shoulder, keeping your gaze at the right shoulder. I know you can't actually see it. And the eyes open. Keeping your gaze consistently towards your right shoulder. Press the left shoulder down, snug your chin in towards your throat, and lengthen the left side of the neck. Okay, breathing in, and then exhale, raise your head to center, center your body, close the eyes for a moment. And lightly open the eyes, gaze down towards your left shoulder. And keeping your gaze consistent in that direction, tip your left ear towards your left shoulder. You press the right shoulder down, lengthen the right side of your neck, and keep your gaze consistent. Bring your chin in towards your throat. And then exhale, raise your head to center, close your eyes, take a little pause. And exhale, turn your head to your right, open your eyes, and while your head is turned to the right, tip your chin down towards your throat and gaze at your right shoulder. Now you can see it. Inhale, raise your left arm out to the side. And then exhale, lower the left arm down and press your left shoulder down, bring your chin down towards your right shoulder. And then inhale, return your gaze to the right side horizon, raise your left arm up alongside your ear. And exhale, open the left arm, palm face up, keep your gaze on the horizon to the right. And return to center. Rotate your head to your left, gaze on the horizon to your left, then gaze down at your left shoulder, bring your chin down too. Now you can see your shoulder. As you breathe in, raise your right arm. Exhale, lower your right arm so your shoulder comes down away from your ear. And then inhale, lift your gaze towards the horizon, raise your right arm, palm face up. Exhale, lower your right arm, keep your gaze steady on the horizon to your left. And then this time, inhale, raise your right arm up alongside your ear. And exhale, open your right arm as you gaze to your left. You can sense your right palm face up, thumb pointing backwards. And then rotate to center. And notice the feeling tone of your mental concentration, your neck, your throat, this whole region in the head. And then please come to table pose with 2 blocks. Put your blankets aside unless you need padding for your knees, of course. Place your hands on your blocks. And as you inhale, glide the heart forward in cow pose. Bring your chin forward. Bring the lower jaw forward of the upper jaw. And with your next exhale, press into cat pose on your way to child's pose. Then inhale through cat pose on your way to cow pose. And then exhale, cat pose on your way to child's pose. Let's do that 3 times more. And as you inhale to guide your body forward, bring your eyes also forward on the floor, on the wall, and up. And then exhale, cat pose, trace your eyes, and return to child's pose, gazing back at the toes. Inhale, roll forward cat, becomes cow, trace your eyes on the floor, the wall, maybe the ceiling. And exhale, glide the eyes down, cat pose, becomes child's pose, gazing back at the toes. Okay, once more. Now in this child's pose, let's keep the hands and arms stable and strong, and the head can relax down. Then gaze under your left armpit and up the wall to your left. Come to center and gaze under your right armpit and up the wall to your right. Okay, now inhale, roll forward cat, becomes cow pose as you come forward, gaze to your right. And then exhale, cat, becomes child's pose, gaze under your left armpit. Inhale, cat to cow as you come forward, gaze to your right. And then exhale, cat to child's pose, gazing under the left armpit. Once more. Bring your head to center, gaze under your right armpit, so transfer from center to right, and inhale, cat to cow, gazing up to your left. And exhale, tracing the line as you come back under your right armpit in child's pose. Twice more. And return to center. Now with the arms steady on the blocks, when you relax the head, you might notice that your head comes closer to the floor or that it touches the floor. And walk your hands back towards your knees and press up to kneeling and pause in Vajrasana. Okay, and then place your 2 blocks to be for the elbows. This is going to include Sphinx pose, plank pose, and then this movement we do into the upper shoulder girdle area. When I was a child, I was very adventuresome. I mean, not that I'm not so adventuresome now, though physically less so, but I broke my left elbow twice. Whenever I put my elbow on the block, it's right on the scar tissue that I'm working with. So you might see that occasionally I'm moving my block on my elbow around to make this more comfortable right here. But for your blocks, I'd like them to be a little bit wider than shoulder distance or shoulder width itself, because you're going to put your elbow in the center of the block and it's going to stay there to the best of your ability. So for something like Sphinx pose like this. The elbows are allowing the torso to come through the upper arms. And then yet when you come back like this, the elbows are not too wide apart for this experience. So set that up for yourself and then come into your Sphinx pose. The pain for me is not in Sphinx pose on my elbow. It's when we go back to that chest opening, and I'm committed to doing it even though it's uncomfortable on my scar tissue there. It's amazing how the sensations can still be there in very specific ways, even from the age of 7. So lift up through the heart in Sphinx pose, and we're going to practice opening the throat. Roll the shoulders back, lift your collarbones, raise your chin, and bring your lower jaw forward of your upper jaw. And then relax your jaw, make your head feel more neutral or normal. And look over your right shoulder. Inhale forward. Look over the left shoulder, exhale. Keep the right shoulder back. Inhale forward. Exhale, rotate your head to the right, gaze past your right shoulder. Inhale forward. Keep your Sphinx pose. Exhale, rotate your head to your left. And then we're going to inhale and come forward. And exhale, table pose on the knees and elbows. Look down between your hands and forearms. Curl the toes under and make it into plank pose on the elbows. Lift the base of your skull. And then lightly touch the knees down and reach your hips back. Bring your hands behind your head. Please press the fingerprints into each other to separate the heels of your hands and your wrists. As you're breathing in here, I'm going to ask you then to exhale, look under the right armpit. Inhale, gaze back between the knees. Exhale, look under the left armpit. Inhale, gaze between the knees. Exhale, gaze right. Inhale, center. And exhale, gaze left under the armpit. And then inhale and come forward to Sphinx pose. Press the shoulders back, glide your heart forward. Energize the legs, lift your chin. Let's turn the palms face up so the hands are no longer touching each other. Keep the shoulders back and rotate your gaze back over your right shoulder. Circle forward, inhale, circle to the left, exhale. Circle forward with the inhale. And now gaze down between the elbows, press onto your blocks and come to table pose, and then plank pose. Palms face up. Lift the base of the skull, touch your knees down, and as you reach back once more to this stretch for the upper body, put the fingerprints and the thumbprints together again. And as you glide back, lengthen from your elbows through your armpits to your hips. And then shift your body weight forward just enough to place the hands and walk backwards to Vajrasana. And come to notice what's happening in this region of the body, your shoulders, upper back, the throat, your head, even your eyes. And then come forward, hands on your blocks for plank and downward dog and so on. You curl the toes under. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, right knee forward, touch the inner elbow. Exhale, right shin down like pigeon pose. Bring your chest and heart forward. And then inhale, plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, left knee up. Inhale, place the left shin down. Bring your heart forward like pigeon pose and seal pose. Exhale to plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, right foot forward, left foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart, gaze at your fingertips. Inhale, arms forward, gaze at your thumbs. Exhale, fingertips. Inhale, raise up, look up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, left toes straight back. Inhale, as you rise, trace the line along the floor, the wall, the ceiling, find your thumbs. And then exhale, again, tracing that line with the eyes really smoothly, come down to the base of your lunge. Inhale, downward dog pose. We'll glide the eyes back between the heels. Okay, exhale, plank pose, right knee to your elbow. Inhale, lay the right shin down and glide your heart forward like seal pose. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, plank pose, left knee forward. Inhale, left shin down, bring your heart forward. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, left foot forward, right foot forward, Uttanasana. Tracing with the eyes, inhale, rise up, upward hands pose. And exhale to your fingertips with your gaze. Inhale, hands forward, gaze forward at your thumbs. Exhale, Anjali Mudra, gaze at the fingertips. Inhale, raise up, look up. Exhale, Uttanasana, tracing the line all the way back behind the heels, maybe towards the back of your room. Inhale, glide forward, gaze forward. Exhale, left toes straight back. Inhale to rise to your crescent. Gaze at your thumbs. Wrap the shoulder blades around the rib cage. So the pinkies are touching. Elbows turn in. And then exhale, sweep your arms wide, come over to your base for your lunge. Interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Raise the arms up, gaze towards your left heel or towards whatever you gaze at, the back of your mat, the back of your room. Relax the weight of your head, but keep the eyes steady. You bring your gaze down between your right foot and your left block and slowly touch the left knee down. And then inhale, rise up to Anjaneyasana with the hands clasped behind the back. Notice what it's like to look up without your thumbs as a reference. Open the throat. And then exhale to release. Let's place the hands on the two blocks. Inhale, downward dog pose. And exhale, left foot forward. This is for the crescent. So inhale, trace your gaze along the wall, the ceiling, up to your thumbs. Bring the triceps around towards the midline. The pinkies roll in. So the shoulder blades will be wider on your upper back. And then exhale, sweep the arms wide, come down to the base of your lunge, clasp your hands at the small of your back. Gaze back behind your right heel, or at your right heel if you prefer. Relax the weight of your head. Keeping the left hip stable, bring your gaze down near to your left heel. Touch the right knee down and rise up to Anjaneyasana. That's how it is to gaze up without your thumbs for reference. Exhale, release. Touch the two blocks. Let's inhale to downward dog pose, please. And exhale, right knee forward plank pose. Touch the right shin down as you inhale. Raise your heart like seal pose. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, left knee forward plank pose. Inhale, pigeon pose for the left leg, seal pose for the heart. And exhale to plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. Now let's bring the right leg forward for pigeon pose itself. So cross your right shin over the front of your mat. Slide your left leg back. You can use the blocks for your forearms if you like. You can use them as a place to cross the arms and make a pillow for your head. You also can use the floor if you prefer. Hi. Did you get worried about something? I'm okay. This is called pigeon pose. It's okay. Yeah, everything's okay. You came to check? So in this pigeon pose, as you rest the head down, go ahead and close your eyes. And greet the sensations in your body, just as they're showing up. Shift your hands to your blocks. Ready? Oh, you can too, I see. Okay, let's raise the chest and the heart. So you have your hands on your blocks in front of you, maybe a little closer than mine are able to be. Lift up, open your throat. Now, keeping the hips centered, let's turn and look over and down past the right shoulder. And then raise back up to center. Exhale, we're going to bring the blocks just in front of your pose so that you can step into plank pose. Step over your kitties. And then reach back to downward dog pose. You're going to be okay there. Me too. Let's bring the left leg forward to pigeon pose. You stay, yeah, where are you going to go? And then slide the right leg back, and you can use the blocks for your elbows. If you like, you can use the blocks for the elbows. You're welcome to close your eyes and bring your attention into your left hip and whatever sensations are emerging there. Place your hands on your blocks. Press down and raise your chest and heart into seal pose. Look up, and then keeping your pose stable, rotate your head, look down past your left shoulder. Now to raise up. Connect your strength into your hands and arms and the two blocks, and inhale to plank. Step around your kitty, honey. And then exhale, downward dog pose. Okay, let's step forward and come to Uttanasana. Reach back to interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Roll the shoulders open. Relax the weight of your head. Take the shoulders and roll them open. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards your spine and up towards your hips. Look under your right shoulder towards the ceiling. Go to center, look under the left shoulder, up towards the ceiling. Come to center. Watch the kittens wrestling. And then please rise up to standing. Keep the hands clasped. With the tailbone down, squeeze the shoulders back. And then exhale to relax. Come to mountain pose. And then we're going to use a chair and 2 blankets. We're going to do a little variation on shoulder stand today. The cat is on the mouse. Just a moment. Can I have that? Yeah, I'll put that there. Okay, so I'm going to recommend that for some of you, you put your blocks. It's hard to say if you're going to need them. It's hard to say where they're going to go precisely, but put them on the end of the mat there. We'll see if you can follow what I'm going to show. Excuse me. Watching out for toes and tails. Place your chair down on your mat. And we'll take the two blankets. They're going to be folded in this form, which we use the rounded edge of the blankets to support. We just check if she pushed a button when she touched the mouse. She was lying directly on it. 1 second. Yeah, she unmuted Tracy. I just muted you again, Tracy. I don't know why Bindi did that, but maybe later you guys can talk with each other about it. Find out. Okay, so in this position, you have, this is a familiar way for us to go down. I'm not saying that everybody completely gets it or it's your favorite, but we have come off the chair backwards before. The shoulders are going to be going right here. For anybody who needs a brush up on this or wants some individual tutoring, we are having a yoga therapy clinic on Monday, March 21st, and it's about shoulder stand. And the assistants who are coming in are all certified yoga teachers. They've completed their 300, 500, and or are in their 800 hour as well. So you can get individual attention this way for what we're doing here in this shoulder stand chair pose blankets thing on Zoom. So I'm going to step around the chair, straddling it, watching out for tails, my tail and hers, excuse me. And then you're going to go over the chair backwards. Now, this part you have seen before. Watch out for your hair. Don't get it stuck. It's painful. So you get the shoulders onto the edge of the blankets there so that they're really pretty snug on the blankets. And the legs go up. And then for some of us, you're going to be able to come smoothly over to plough pose. And others are going to find that those blocks are necessary because your hamstrings may not allow you to come all the way down to plough pose, but you could put your toes on your blocks. If you can put the toes on the floor, that's a fine place to go. However, even before this decision, you have to know that when you're here in this version of shoulder stand, you don't have to use any momentum to go over, and you're not going to collapse the foundation of your pose in any way. So you are secure in what you're already doing with your shoulders and your head and your neck. So another option is to stay right here in candlestick pose and to really practice firming your shoulders down into the blankets and raise the chest and heart up. So the throat should feel like it's medium. It's somewhat closed, but it shouldn't feel like it's too compressed because we have the blankets under the shoulders. And the heart should feel like a back bend, like almost like you're doing camel pose in your thoracic spine. Okay, so for anyone who's choosing to come down to plough pose, that's a choice that you make because you have all the smoothness and the stability, and you have enough hamstring length to do it as well. For anyone in plough pose, you can raise up to shoulder stand without using the chair at the small of the back. So you raise the torso and your legs, and you'll probably gaze up towards your toes. And then your throat will have a little more compression on purpose. And then we can touch the hips to the edge of the chair. Return to candlestick pose.
also called supported shoulder stand. And then touch your feet to the top of the chair to orient yourself. Go to the seat of the chair. Place your hands not on your hair, but behind your head, past your head. Lift your shoulders off of the blankets. And then bring yourself down backwards without destroying the blankets because you're going to want them for your hips. And then tip the chair so that your hips have support, and so do your knees. When you come down into this Shavasana, I want the mouse and the gula. Let yourself rest there. Practicing something from here. Let's see if I can do it. I think I can do it. Okay, we're going to rest with music this morning. Let's now lightly return awareness to the breath and the body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Knees towards your chest, and please roll to one side. Rest on your side as you like, and then make a transition to come to your meditation seat. Close your eyes and let your attention be inward. The eyes can be still, and sometimes it will feel quite natural for your gaze to be in towards your heart, or at other times, naturally the gaze is resting at the sixth chakra between the eyebrows. Imagine the central channel of the body as very still and also deeply quiet, both receptive and transmittive. So energy is emitted from you, and also you are receiving. As you check in with yourself, notice the inner quality of being resourced. How resourced are you feeling inside? And what might be your relationship to resources today?
Remain mentally quiet, mentally still. Even if thoughts or sensations come by, remain in your stillness. So practice to keep the stillness or the quiet, to respect or cherish that. So sustain your commitment a couple more minutes. Raise your hands to your heart. We make a considerable effort today to notice the resources already available to us, the shared resources. Maybe sense our responsibility to live in such a way as resources are more sustainable, more equitable. And may we also practice so that our inner meditation feels within us. We're not making so much effort to overcome an unhelpful residue. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Close our recording and we can be together.